Hello everyone, Margin back with another video tutorial, this time about Inktober supplies. The three main supplies that you'll need for Inktober are erasers, pencils, and pens. And that's it. But obviously there's some more advanced topics with Inktober because you're trying to do a lot more artsy-fartsy things. So I'm going to do a quick overview of some of the materials that I have to kind of show you guys what I will be using for Inktober this year. So first off, erasers. I always use the Staedtler Mars plastic erasers. These things are my life. They erase just about anything pencil wise and leave almost no trace of it behind. I never have luck with the pink erasers, so this is my go-to eraser for art. Like, always have one of these in whatever bag I'm carrying. The next kind of eraser I use are these. These are art gum erasers. It comes in a nice little box if you get it from Faber-Castell. And if I can get it out of here properly, it likes to leave stuff behind. There we go. This is a kneadable eraser, so they can stretch and pull, and that's actually how you clean them, is to pull them to get the pencil markings away. Kind of nice and relaxing if you're stressed out about your drawing, but it pulls a lot of the pencil away from the drawing and will leave light marks behind, so you're able to use those marks still to ink them clearly. And then on to our next thing, pencils. Now, normally I'm really lazy. I tend to use just basic mechanical pencils. The one with the gray is a 0.5 and this is a 0.7. I tend to draw in 0.5 because I can do more detail in smaller areas. It's also because, as my namesake, the marginal artist, I draw on the margins, and so it's a very tiny area to play with. 0.7 is when I'm trying to darken lines, usually is what I use the mechanical pencils for. Unfortunately, with mechanical pencils, they only have the lead that you put in them. So normally, as I reach over, I usually use just standard HB lead from Pentel. That's not anything fancy, and these are really gross because they've been sitting in my bags forever. But if you wanted to be fancier about your pencils, I recommend the Prismacolor Premier Turquoise, if I can get no glare. These things are my life when I'm like actually seriously drawing things. They come in a wide variety of sizes, from 6H down to 4B. When you see H means that the pencil mark is going to be light, and they do have like a little guide on the back here, but the tape on it is kind of gross. But the B side of it is where you get a thicker, darker mark. So if you want to be able to do a heavier, darker mark closer to black without bothering with too much, you're going to use a B, whereas H, you'd really have to layer it on to get anywhere, but you shouldn't do that because you want to build up those layers by switching to your other pencils. And then after pencils comes pens. Now, normally I use just one of these, a regular old Papermate, Bic, Papermate, whatever pencil. Sorry, pen, not pencil. I mean those two, but just one of these little guys in my backpack. No problem with drawing with those at all. If you want to get a tiny bit nicer, I do recommend getting the Papermate Inkjoy ballpoint pens. These guys are smooth. I've never had any like ink globbing on them. They're really, really nice to play with for those types of things if you're drawing. I don't know if they have a slightly smaller size. I'm sure they do. I just don't have them. And then I also really like the Papermate Inkjoy gel pens a heck of a lot. Nice, smooth line, never globs. They're just really, really good pens. They've done a very good job with them. And then moving on to some of the weirder pens that I have, because we'll jump to those first. This first one here is a fountain pen that's designed for calligraphy. It's a 1.5 millimeter. It's from Speedball. This guy usually is about $8. from Michael's, not on sale. I'm sure you could find it cheaper. I just tend to buy things when I have coupons, as most people do, kind of thing. And then another weird set of weird ones that I got are these Kuretake Fude pens. The black one is this black cap here is a soft tip, and this white one is a hard tip. And I'll show you kind of how they look. So you can get nice lines with this, and you get a nice tapering effect with a fat one. And then with this thin one, it also likes to leak on me. This one might not have been a good one. They are a Japanese pen. I think they're pretty nice for what they are. But one of the things I did find later is that the ink does smear still, which is interesting. When I was using some other pens to color in some lines, it also tends to leave the ink on for a little while. Like, I don't know if you can really tell, but there's a little bit of a glossy shine still from the ink because it's not actually dried to the paper. Next, everybody knows them, everybody uses them for the most part. It's a Sharpie, just a fat one. It's not like fabulous, and I don't like actually using Sharpies because they smell gross. I mean, any type of permanent marker always has a smell because of the way their ink is formulated, so you're not going to get around it, but I just don't like them all that much. The next I have is the Bic marking. They usually come in larger sets. I have the set of, I want to say it's 24. I might be wrong on that, but I think they have really good color laydown, especially for the black. And then I'm also going to show some grays. I think they work pretty nicely. The only downside of them is that they do completely leak through the paper. This is also really thin paper, but I have a couple of coloring pages that I've done where it's on a thicker, like cardstock type paper, and it's just bled straight on through. It's not been amazing. The next thing I have is some Artist Loft. They're like triangle pens or something like that. They're alright. I use them also for coloring mostly. They're not like what I would reach to do line art or anything. And they also came with a couple of grays in there. They're good for what they are. They're not meant to be the most amazing. They're not meant to be high quality kind of thing. And then I also have, along the lines of not high quality things, these are Mala markers that are from IKEA. They're from the kids section. As you can see, the ink is inside of them is not, it's a water-based ink, so it's not, doesn't stain things, just like Crayola. But they're not like super fabulous. And then moving on from there, I'm going to get into slightly fancier supplies. So this is a Staedtler Tri-Plus Fine Liner. They're very thin, really good for small detail areas. And I'll do a little square to show. They're really nice for lining, and they do come in like multi-colors. They don't really have a gray in the smaller packs. I have like a 10 pack that I got ages ago. They're good. I would use them for lining if you're looking for something cheap and you want some other bright colors to go with your stuff. The next thing is Prismacolor Premier fine liner. I got it with a set of Prismacolors. It wasn't like separate, though I did find the price of them separate, and these guys are let me see, where is it? It's on the other side of the page. $15.99 for a 4-pack, and that's this black, a red, a blue, and a green, which they're not worth it. I mean, it's a basic fine liner. Like, why would you stress yourself out by buying a 4-pack for $16? That seems a little intense to me. I'm gonna adjust real quick. Alright. The next thing I have, getting into a more numbered system of things, is these are Art District Freestyle pens. I got them from Aaron Brothers. Aaron Brothers is now dead, which was very sad because I liked Aaron Brothers more than Michaels, but Aaron Brothers was owned by Michaels already. There was a lot with it. But you have really nice lines that you can do a whole bunch of detailing with. They are very much equivalent to the Sakura fine liners. Like, I've used them without having a noticeable difference in how they look for doing different things, and their inking is very nice and smooth. I think they are equivalent to the Artist Loft versions of them. I don't know if it's the same brand redone in a different name or whatever it is, but I love them. I kind of miss Aaron Brothers now because they died, but oh well. So that's all of those ones. Next, as a quick demonstration of them, I have some Spectrum Noirs here. Now, I have the illustrators. I really like them. They have these are alcohol-based markers that have a bullet nib and a brush nib. The brushes are gorgeous. Mine's frayed a little because it's older, but and I didn't take as good care of them as I could have, but they definitely were worth the money. But they are expensive. Like, if you're looking for a cheap marker, these are not them. The Ohuhus are much cheaper. And that's all of those ones. I also have the hashtag coloring. These are also alcohol-based markers. They were from Michaels. I don't think they even sell them anymore, this particular brand. They're not bad markers at all, and they are very comparable to how the Spectrum Noirs look. But over time, their tips become really gross. And they get, like, a little bit dry. They're not, like, the most amazing markers in the universe. I wish they were much better than they are. Like, this one here is a good example. There's, like, gunk on the actual brush, and I don't know where it comes from, where it goes. Where'd you come from? Where'd you go? Not that the pen doesn't function, it's just got weird gunk on it, and I don't like that. But yeah, they're not, if you're looking for a good marker, this is not it. They were not as cheap as the Ohuhus either, so, like, I wouldn't bother with trying to find them anywhere. And then next, I have the Sakura Microns, and I have doubles of these, especially the 0.3. The 0.3, I have 5 of these. I don't know how I have 5 of these. I don't know why I have 5 of these, but I have 5 of the 0.3s. I've used all of them at various times, but I don't know. I have a lot. You can see you have, like, really tiny. I don't even know if you can see the little dots that I made in there. Lines, like, they are definitely, like, everybody's go-to brand usually. Like, I can't say that you're wrong for wanting to go for them. They are definitely good for what they are. I do get a tiny bit of fading when I do erase over top of them. That might just be how hard I am pushing down. I don't know. But these are also ones that I reach for every time I'm doing different art stuff. And all of the thicknesses are kind of important to have. You should have the variety of thicknesses because you don't want to be using one for everything, because you'll not get the same kind of results. And then there's two kind of specialty ones. This one is a bullet nib. It's a 1, so it's got the bullet nib. You can get some nice line variation. It's one of the ones I reach for to do area coloring for black if I'm doing medium-sized areas, just because it has such an easy to handle nib. And this other one is a brush nib, very thin. It tapers a lot. It's very malleable. I do not reach for this one for coloring because it's a little hard to control and get a nice line with it. It frayed a bit, and I don't know if it was paper I used or if it's just the way the tip is formed. Not good if you want clean lining for colors, but Sakura microns are like a standard for people. The next thing is the Faber-Castells. I adore Faber-Castells. These are all the black ones. They come in a variety of sizes, and you can get a pouch, not with this big one, but with this set of 8 here, of these tips. And now I think I talked about this in that other pen video that I did, but I adore them. I think they are great, and they are also very comparable to the Pit Artist pens because they have such nice lines. Not Pit Artist pens, the Sakura microns, my bad. Definitely very worth it in my opinion if you are looking for a quick drying ink. These dry much faster than that one of those first ones, the Kuretake ones. They are meant to dry as fast as possible. The little triple star that's on the logo next to the number is its light fastness, which means that it's like super quick to dry on the paper when it's in this size. And now we're going to get into kind of some of the more specialty tips. You have your brush tip, and this is one of the main reasons I love Faber-Castells is their brush tip is perfect in my opinion. Like, it's the right level of squishiness into the paper, and you can really move them around really nicely. There's also a soft brush tip, which is a much thinner point, very comparable to that Sakura one that I showed previously. You can get a lot wider thickness, a lot thinner lines. It does fray a little bit in certain spots, but it's not like the worst thing in the world, and I think that writes really smooth. And then there's a soft chisel, which is a nice chisel tip, but it's softer, so you can do everything you would do with this chisel tip and get nice areas and lines. I use it also for filling in areas because it's such a nice square shape to it. And then there's also the bullet tip, which is the 1,5. A lot of people actually use this for calligraphy purposes, but like I use that Sakura bullet tip, I use it for filling in areas frequently. And then if you really need to fill in large areas, the big brush pens are what you use. And these guys are big. They do not stop. My tip is rather frayed at this point, so I only use it in like the main area and then fill in around it with a slightly thinner pen so that it doesn't show as much. But I love the Faber-Castells. And as a bonus with Faber-Castells, they also come in grays. Wahaha, as I chuck one of the pens. The big brush pens come in gray. There's a lot of, oh, sorry, I'm like shaking all over. There's a lot of different colors of gray. And there's warm and cold gray, which I showed in that color theory one. So I won't pull out and open up all the colors again, but I have a couple of doubles. Some of these are much older pens. Some of them are newer. The older ones have a yellow font on them. The new ones have a dark gray or a white font. I've collected a lot of these over the years and had to replace them, had to throw some away, killed the tips on them, and some other things. But if you're looking for reasonably affordable markers that are India ink, the Faber-Castells are absolutely beautiful. They lay down and dry almost instantly, so you don't have to worry about smudging too much. You can do a little bit of blending with them, not like amazingly well, but it's worthwhile to play with them for a little bit. And then a couple other materials that I have that I won't like physically demo them because it's a pain in the butt to do that, but I have a bottle of Higgins ink. This is Fountain Pen India ink. I can speak. It's all right. It's not the blackest black it could ever be. It kind of turns more gray in my opinion unless you layer it a couple of times. It's annoying, and I use brushes to do it in order to create the lining. And these are just some. They were overpriced because it was from my school bookstore, but some cheap brushes is all you need. A nice thin line to create with those, or thick lines, whatever you need to do. And then some other fun things are metallic Sharpies, and I'm gonna grab the Bic marking pen so I can get you a nice area here of black so I can demo these off, because I have a couple of things. Give that a sec to dry because it is. But usually the Sharpies come in a 2-pack of silver, and then there's a 2-pack with the bronze and gold. I found one pack that had bronze, silver, and gold, but I don't remember where I got it. I don't remember where I get half of these things. I just grab things and go. But the silver Sharpies are really nice because it adds a splash of fun to your colors. Your black area, so you have a little bit of highlighting you can do with the silver. The bronze has kind of been used heavily, so it's a little bit wider of a tip at this point now, but and then there's also some gold. So you can add a little bit of pop to your coloring for Inktober. And then some other things is, this is Spectrum Noir glitter clear overlay pen. They come in the 3-pack of these ones. They are a little terrifying to use if you don't know what you're doing. And the caps like to be mean. Okay, yeah, alright. I didn't make sure it was screwed on. But it's a brush pen, and to start it you have to squeeze it, and I'm not going to squeeze it because it's been squeezed. But when you lay it down, it's probably not going to show up in the video, but there's glitter all in there. And yeah, it doesn't really show up very well, but there's some glittery effect from those, which can be fun. Always fun to play with. You have to be a little bit careful because glitter will get everywhere. And then this is a Jelly Roll clear overlay pen as well. That's a clear glitter. I think it came in a 2-pack, and the other one went to my mom. So I don't remember where the other one of it went, or if I just grabbed it off the shelf and was like, yeah, I got a glitter pen. But you can create a nice area of glittery fun with it. And then this is my go-to savior of pretty much all my projects, is the white gel pen from Jelly Roll. And this guy lays so nicely over black. You can create nice areas of it and get basically your white back. It will sometimes, if you do it too soon over the paper where the ink is, it will pick up the color. And sometimes it's a little streaky, so you have to be patient and willing to fill in your gaps. But probably one of the best ways to get rid of anything that's like stuck on your paper, so you can get those lines to be a little bit crisper. But yeah, that's kind of the basic supplies for Inktober and some of what I have on hand. And so yeah, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below, and see you in the next video. Bye!